Hello, everybody. Welcome to this would be day 7. We're still in lesson 5 of Unit 3. There's only 6 lessons in Unit 3, and then Den Krieg ist vorbei. The war is over. Anyway, I'm looking at Roman numeral 3 and 4 today from lesson 5 slides. There's slide 7, 8, and 9 that I'm focusing on today, and a couple of big events. When we were talking last week, the situation was that the war had kind of slowed down in Western Europe, partially due to the weather, because it was turning into fall and then winter, and the Allies had pushed basically to the border of Germany and come to a halt. And also because of exhaustion, the Allies fighting all their way from the Normandy beaches all the way across France through Belgium and Holland and Luxembourg had basically needed a breath, a time to stop, allow the logistics to catch up to the troops, allow the fuel to catch up to the troops, the ammunition. Soldiers were able to do the laundry, they were able to take showers, they received their mail. It seemed like, well, the war wasn't going to be over by Christmas, but the Germans were in big trouble. There was really no way the Germans were going to be able to stop what was going to happen in the spring. In the midst of all of this, it's not lost on the Germans that they've chosen a leader poorly, and Hitler has become more and more addicted to narcotics. He's making more and more random decisions and firing all of the key leaders. He's fired Heinz Guderian yet again. I think this time was for good by the end of 1944. One of the officers in the German army became part of a plot put together by several of the German army officers, not SS, standard pre-war German army officers, and the guy's name was Count von Stauffenberg. He had lost an eye and I think an arm fighting in North Africa and Sicily. He joined a group of army officers that wanted Hitler dead so that they could end the war. They all agreed that they were not going to win this thing, and at this point it was more important to save Germany. So they thought of themselves as patriots who were going to save Germany, rescue it from complete destruction by killing Hitler and then telling everybody they're at war with, sorry guys, big mistake, can we negotiate something, right? So they set up a coup d'etat, and it's all based on blowing up Adolf Hitler at his Rastenburg headquarters in East Prussia. This is a headquarters that's a series of bunkers that you would never notice if you flew over these vast areas of woodland around it in the area of East Prussia. Hitler doesn't go there very often, but he's traveling there. They've actually attempted to kill him before. They put a bomb on a plane that he was on, but the bomb did not go off. At least once, maybe twice. I'm sure there's several specials about it you could watch on YouTube. But I can tell you that there's a really good Tom Cruise movie where Tom Cruise plays von Stauffenberg. And the suspense in the movie of them trying to pull off this coup d'etat, because they have to do two things at the same time. They have to kill Hitler while he's at his headquarters, and then back in Berlin, they have to immediately gain control of the telephone lines and the army headquarters, and they have to basically arrest Hitler's bodyguard in their barracks all at the same time. It's like a 5-pronged attack, and if it's any more than 2, it's not going to work out. So, first of all, the bomb does go off. Stauffenberg plants the bomb, but the last minute, a staff officer picks the briefcase up and moves it from where he was standing to the other side of a large oak table leg. And this table leg actually saves Hitler's life because it takes the blast. Now, Hitler's badly damaged, and he's in the hospital. And he's never the same after that. He also doesn't trust anybody after that. But it doesn't kill him. The attempt happens July 20th, 1944. Now, the other failure is the communication back to Berlin that will cause everyone in Berlin to accept the fact that Hitler's gone. That doesn't happen. It falls apart at the Berlin end, and then they find out Hitler isn't actually dead. The people who carried this out are arrested. Von Stauffenberg is shot, I believe, firing squad. They all die horrible deaths, many of them filmed by the Germans as a way of documenting even more, you don't mess with the Fuhrer kind of a thing. So the bomb doesn't kill him. Hitler's injured and shaken, but he decides he's going to go down fighting. You can't trust anyone. He purges, 100, 150 German army officers. And the most notable casualty is somebody who didn't even have anything to do with it, and that is Erwin Rommel. Now, Rommel's role in this is very simple. He didn't have anything to do with it, but he kind of knew it was happening. So, take you back, after he was taken out of the desert, Rommel was put in charge of the D-Day defenses, and while he was in the midst of all of that, he was approached by a German army officer who said something to the effect of, "Hey, we think we're going to take out Hitler. Are you interested in participating?" And he said, "No, and please don't say anything more about it." He is on the wrong side of Hitler because he never said anything to anybody about this. Do we think secretly he probably wanted it to happen? Yeah. He didn't do anything to stop it. Let's put it that way. So the Gestapo came to his house. He was recuperating from having been badly injured shortly after D-Day. He was in his staff car, and a Allied fighter plane attacked his staff car and blew it up, drove it into a ditch, and he was injured in the accident. He was recovering at home, and the Gestapo came to his house and said, "We know what you did. We know that you knew. And so the only honorable thing to do is we'll give you two options. One, we're going to take you downtown and question you, and we're also going to take your son and your wife downtown, and it's going to get ugly and gruesome. Or you can just tell us what you know, and then you can take this poison capsule and go upstairs and say goodbye to your wife and your son, and that's the end of that, and you'll be buried as a hero of the German Republic. They'll say you died of a blood clot or an aneurysm or something." He chose that method. And so essentially it causes the attempting to kill Hitler in the end winds up with the death of the most established military commander of the Germans. Now, on the other hand, in the meantime, things were also going badly on the Eastern Front. And that's the other piece I'll talk about here in the next couple of minutes. The Russian army was kind of steamrolling across the flatlands, the plains of Western Russia, and they were gaining all of their territory back. And as they were moving closer and closer to Poland and moving closer and closer to East Prussia, two things were happening that you should be aware of. And one of them is all the Germans who had moved like settlers into Poland and into these parts of Russia to become the new master race that controlled it all, they're suddenly having to pack up their stuff and become refugees on the road because they, in fact, are about to be run over by the Russians. So these dreams they had of being, moving east and settling down. I mean, they don't have Conestoga wagons. It's not like Oregon Trail, but yeah, in a way. Anyway, that whole thing goes badly, and you end up with thousands of German refugees slowly migrating west. Now, the other thing is the Russians are also moving into very close to the Austrian border, and the Austrians are very upset about the choices they've made of joining the Germans. Now it's coming back to get them. The Russians have moved into Yugoslavia, and the partisans in Yugoslavia that have been fighting the Germans all this time, led by a guy named Marshal Tito, they are now, they're pro-communist. And so when the Russian army shows up, that's all they need. They just say, hand us more ammo, we'll keep fighting. And so they very quickly kick the Germans out of Yugoslavia. And so the Russians are getting closer and closer to knocking on the door of Germany itself. The other group that I wanted to talk about, that their second and third order effects, are all those Russians who decided to be friendly to the Germans, to support the Germans, or Russian prisoners of war who began working for the Germans. They're now all in big trouble because they all are getting a sense of how this is going to end, and it's not going to go well for them. So we've got the Russians all the way almost to the border of what is entering Germany itself. They're actually entering the occupied part of Poland that disappeared. They've crossed, oops, my papers. They've crossed the Polish border. They're getting ready to enter East Prussia. And the Germans realize, oh my God, we're fighting for our own land now. This is not how we thought this would end. The German government is becoming more and more radical. The crackdown on anybody who says anything bad about Hitler is getting worse and worse, and Hitler himself is getting more and more crazed. Okay. And then the Allies, who are paused at the border of Germany, on the western side of Germany, are building up forces to prepare themselves in the springtime to finish this off. Things don't look good for the Germans, but as we'll learn, not Wednesday, but next week, Monday, the Germans have one last trick up their sleeves. It's called the Von Rundstedt Offensive, or the Ardennes Offensive. The Americans call it the Battle of the Bulge, December 1944. Okay. I'm going to attach some cool videos for you guys to watch along with this video on Google Classroom. And again, a cool movie to watch, Valkyrie, having a lot to do with this, right? Also on Netflix, there's a set of series, there's a set of guys who try to be like World War II field archaeologists. I can't remember what it's called. It's only got like 4 episodes. But I'd say it's worth watching. If I think of it, I'll post the title on Google Classroom. Okay. I'll have another video ready for you guys for Wednesday. And it's going to look a lot like this location, just so you know. Okay, bye.